This is the Dick and Conversation podcast. I'm Elissa. If this is your first time watching me or hearing me, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been with me before, welcome back. If you're listening to me, you're probably hearing me on Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, or Spotify, or you might be seeing me on Spotify, and you may be watching me on YouTube. My socials are Instagram, Dick and Conversation underscore podcast. My Facebook page is Dick and Conversation Podcast Facebook page. My YouTube channel, subscribe, and share is Dick and Conversation Podcast. What am I missing? Oh, my Blue Sky is Dick and Convo .bsky.social. And now I am on TikTok as Dick and Conversation Podcast. And if you ever need to get in touch with me, you can message me through my email is dickandconvo@gmail.com. I have a guest today, which I'm very honored to have because she is the first of a kind. She's one of one in a team of many. She's my first Gen Z, probably the youngest guest I've ever had. Everyone else, most positive. Yep, everyone else that I've ever had, whether they were male, female, we were all from Gen X. And this is from a Gen Z perspective. We're going to hear about the things that Gen Z navigate through as being a woman and dating and perceptions and misconceptions about being Gen Z, being a woman in the world. Um, I've been knowing her for a long time, like forever, literally. But I wanted to welcome her and to get her take. So thank you. I want to introduce my guest, Dee. Dee, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me on here. I'm excited.
I'm excited because this is the first time I've ever had a woman from a different generation. I met with Larissa and Shay and all, everybody else that have been on Coffee, Erica. We've all been Gen X, so we tend to have a perspective about dating, marriage, divorce, professionalism, culture and we tend to have a shared perspective because of generation. But now I'm reaching across. I just skipped the millennials and reached down, grabbed Gen Z. So I'm so interested to find out about your perspective. But before we get started, what is it that you want to tell us about yourself?
My name is Dee, and I don't know if it's okay to say this, but I am Lissa's niece.
It is absolutely okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to tell that you were my niece.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Of course.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
Lissa, my aunt, and I'm 27. I love everything multimedia, outgoing, food lover, dog lover, and just caring and loving.
Yeah, my nephew dog Prince, who's like
Yes.
half human, half dog.
We absolutely loved her when we got back from the Kamala Harris rally in 2024. That was a whole other story, right? But that was a whole other story. But he was that's his personality. He will love you and you will love him back towards the end of the day.
Definitely. What I love about him is he was hesitant. He wasn't loving me off the bat. He needed to feel me out. Like, is this somebody I can trust? Is it okay? But by the time I left, he was playing with me. He wanted to play with his toys and getting me involved. I mean, Prince has figured out what we all should have done in life. Like, let me wait and see if this is somebody I could trust and navigate with.
Yes. That's with a lot of people, and even some people that I'm no longer speaking to. When he first met them, he stayed away from them. And people that I really love or my friends and family, he sniffs them out a little bit and immediately loves them. The only person that he loved off the bat was my sister. And they're like this to this day. So yeah, but he's teaching me, a dog teaching me to, set my boundaries, be careful, fill people out before letting my whole self,
That's one thing, and jumping directly into the Gen Z when you said that about boundaries, that is one thing I will credit Gen Z with. You guys, I think it's because you grew up in the culture and the environment of the world where boundary setting was something that's just established. You've known it your whole life, where we had to learn that, where even something as simple as growing up, where you say, "That's your cousin, give him a hug." I don't know this person.
Oh, that's what I said.
Gen Z is not like that.
Yes. Like we advocate for ourselves, speak up when it's not okay, or we let it know, okay, we're cool with it. No, we keep it straight on. Hmm.
Very much so. That is just a part of lifestyle as a Gen Zer. I remember I planned for the twins open house. I planned for that open house since they were born, since we got them, and their senior year. Jay said, "Mom, I don't want an open house," and I said, "You don't?" He said, "No, I don't want an open house because I don't know these people, and I don't want to be touched and held and hugged and people touching on me that I don't know. You know them, I don't." And I was I was stunned. I understood it
Yeah.
because like I said, you guys lived in a world where boundary setting is part of living.
Yeah. And then trying to get to know them. That's a lot of pressure and stuff when that day is supposed to be celebrated for you. So I get
Mhm.
it from that perspective now. Like thinking about it with my open house, I changed 3 times. Like I thought it was like a whole red carpet event. Like, how you doing? How you feeling? Come on. Like now I now I see the difference.
That's how
Yes.
I had a plan where I was going to have mannequins with all the dresses that she had worn
Yes.
for homecoming, going to put those dresses on and
Right.
the homecoming suit.
Yes.
Blow up the pictures and have it uh, have it on an easel next to the where the dress on the mannequin. It was a
Yeah.
theme. It was going to be fiesta, and I had put the down payment on the hall. And he said no,
I respect
no,
that. I respect that. Not everybody wants to have a lot of people there that, again, they don't know.
I don't
Yes, for
know.
family, yes, for blood, but if I haven't spoken to you or
Mhm.
only probably met you once when I was little, I'm not gonna remember that. I want to be able
Right.
to enjoy my open house with the people that I love, that I know, and that I'm comfortable with. It's the same thing when you get married. I was thinking, for my wedding, for my guests, like, am I comfortable crying in front of my guests? For showing my love to my, husband. So you have to be very careful and mindful who you bring around. And especially for your special moments that you can't get back. So,
Mm.
mhm,
You
mhm,
can't get it
can't get
back.
it back. Your wedding day, you can't get that back. Your baby shower for your first child, you can't get that back. So you have to be intentional with not only just the overall day, but who you allow and bring into those moments. Mhm.
What? Yes. I've been seeing the last few weeks, it's been the last few weeks about just I said that's gonna be my new catchphrase about change is inevitable, growth is intentional. You have to make an effort, a concerted effort to grow because you have to be intentional with it.
Yeah.
So to say intentional on who you want in those moments, in those
Yeah.
milestones, a wedding, because when I got married, it was just like big. I want to have it big.
So
And I was like, this is over the top. I had a
I was
harpist
about to
and,
mention that.
you know,
Yeah. Yes.
and you were in the wedding and not in the wedding.
I'm like, I got one job. Like, what happened?
You were in the wedding. You in all the wedding pictures.
I'm living the life on the dance floor though. That was the thing because I actually have a
Yes.
picture of me and my dad like on the dance floor. Like, okay, that's why he's here. Okay, here. But I get it. I get it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The intentional things. So here's a question for you. In mapping out your life, where do you leave space for just the happenstance? I know we want to be intentional and plan things out, but do you still leave room for the happenstance of what could possibly go wrong? Or do you just say, this is intentional, what I'm going to do, and then, go from
Whatever
there?
happened. Okay. So kind of just more so if I have this, the specific plan, for example, for my wedding, and some things just don't go right. That's where
Mhm.
you're kind of and That's where it's difficult too, because I have high expectations. That's something I still need to work on very badly. I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is the plan for the day. We're gonna have this, that, and the third. It's raining out. We were supposed to be outside hanging out. This person so and so is arguing in the corner, and you just kind of froze, and everybody's looking at you like this is your party. Like how you supposed to handle
Mhm,
everything?
mhm, mhm.
I think about the closest people that would help me in that situation, like let's say beforehand, the day before, hey, if something goes left, can you handle it for me? This is my day. I want to be able to have fun. I won't even think about, oh, that happened. Oh, I was over here getting my life together over here. Like, so having those type of people, like I said, like Maid of Honor, for example, they're supposed to help and make sure everything goes right. You do not have to be the one to worry about this, that, and the third. You're supposed to enjoy your day. So I believe having that group of people, or just a couple of people, or even that one person, handle something that goes wrong on your behalf. So that way you can still be in the moment, still have fun, and you can take care of it the next day. So,
You still shouldn't even know. Here's the thing, I don't know if I told this on here. I've coordinated a few weddings.
mm. Oh, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. One is I think the last one I did was maybe a little over a year ago.
Hmm.
So my number one rule is always if something goes wrong, don't let the bride and groom even know.
Yes.
Don't let them even know. The the one wedding I coordinated was like, oh my God, was Samantha's. Hey Samantha. So Samantha got married and her wedding cake, the person who made the cake brought the cake over. Well, the frosting on the cake was heavier than the cake, so it pulled off and fell on the table prior to the wedding even starting. Like Samantha's in there getting ready in her suite, putting her dress on, and the bridesmaids are getting ready. And the venue coordinator comes to me because I was coordinating the wedding and said, Alyssa, we have an issue. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, can you come with me? I said, sure. I go and part of the cake is laying on the table before the wedding started. So one of her bridesmaids was a pastry chef. And I went and got the pastry chef and I said, can you come with me? And she said, sure. It's mathematically. What's wrong? What's wrong? I was like, nothing. I had a question about, a wig or something. I don't know. I made up something. So I was wearing a wig.
Right.
That was fire wig. That was a fire wig too. But she comes and she says, okay, she looks at it and she says, okay, can someone give me, some hot water, a knife, and some toothpicks, straws. They were straws. She put the cake back together, stuck it in there and got the water and, she put the florets back together and she goes back to finish getting ready. And the venue coordinator comes again and she says, can you come with me again? And I was like, oh, okay. Half the cake fell back off, and another part of the cake fell back off. I went and got the bridesmaid. Went and got the bridesmaid again. She said, "I can't fix that. I can't fix that." So I was like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" So as the coordinator, have to be on top of it. Samantha doesn't know. Terrell doesn't know. Their wedding cake is on the table, and their wedding hasn't even started. It's like a 3-tier wedding cake with florets all around it. Rosettes, not florets, rosettes all around it. Beautiful. And I was like, what can I do? They're still decorating the room. And I said, okay, get that cake out of here, go and cut it, plate it up. Bring out the groom's cake, which had their engagement picture. We're going to sit it here, and we're going to have other desserts. The minute they cut that cake, bring out the plates of the cake. They go to take the picture when it's time to cut the cake, and Samantha's like, "Where's my cake? Where's my cake?" And I said, "Oh, it's plated up." And as soon as she cut it, they brought all the cakes out. All the wedding cake that was on had fallen off the table. Well, not that part, but the other parts. And they cut it up and brought it out. And Samantha was like, "Oh, okay." And she didn't know until they got back off their honeymoon.
Wow.
No clue. One of the songs where the wedding party came in, because she had a big wedding party,
Yeah.
it was the wrong song. She didn't know. She didn't know. They're not allowed to tell. The last wedding I coordinated, one of the bridesmaids, her dress ripped completely up the back before the wedding ever started. And the poor bride, I think if she's watching this now, she'll find out what happened. We were a little late starting, not completely late, but just a little bit.
Mhm.
And she was just wondering, like, what's taking so long? What's happening? What's taking so long?
Mm.
We had to get safety pins and pin that dress together. And then thank God she requested them to wear long ponytails and they covered up the back of that dress, but that dress split up the back. So when you're saying you have expectations of what's supposed to happen, My recommendation, have somebody who's quick on the feet, but also knows how to keep a secret away from you.
Yes. And then adding on to that too, someone that can be able to help in the situation. Like you said, when the bridesmaid, she was able to, at least for the first round, help with the cake. Have somebody who's able
Yes.
to sew, you know, someone that can help
Yes.
benefit in that situation as well too. No, I completely agree.
Yes.
No, as you were telling that story, it reminded me of my sister's baby shower. I was a coordinator for that.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Just fighting for my life every day, right? On my way to get the decorations, someone hit my car in the back. As I'm getting the decorations, and I still have more errands to run. So I'm on the road for 2 hours waiting for the police officer to come. I'm like, what is happening? Luckily, there was no scratches or anything at all. Then trying to figure out the food, making sure they like this. The decorations, the balloons, half of the balloons had popped. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So what the setup was supposed to be, it was supposed to be filled with so much balloons. I had like, different design and stuff, but I did not want her to know. So we just made sure everything was all set up, at least the best we could, especially the cupcakes and the cake. My sister come in, hey, where the stash? That's the least you could do. The stash says mommy to be and father to be. That's the least you could do. Let me take the pictures and that's it. Let me be happy a little bit. Yes. Same thing with her
How it
wedding.
turned out was not how it was planned.
No. And her wedding too, but she didn't know. I did her makeup. Mind you, this was COVID back then. A week before, I was hospitalized. I thought I had COVID. And I was still in the bed playing the wedding. Okay, does she want this? That cake. Okay. Oh, I got IV. Okay. Roll out the runner, making sure their parents and his sister is good, making sure the food was set up right. I'm the videographer and photographer, so getting that all in that moment. So I get it for when in your respect of being the coordinator, it's a lot, but then it goes back to making sure you have that one person that will handle everything. So your bride or whoever the event is hold on to, they're set good. We can talk about it after
Oh,
that.
right. I always laughing too and say especially with with Gen Z, every bride needs a crash out bridesmaid in case something go wrong. She go get it out the. This
Yes,
is not your part of the ceremony. We need one crash out bridesmaid. Who are you?
right.
No, not now. This is not your moment.
I was a crash out bridesmaid and coordinator. The bride herself, she was calm, good. Good morning. Sit down. I need to do your makeup real quick. I put the pay together, all of it. And I don't regret it at all. Like, I loved it. I love how happy they were because seeing in their faces at the end of the day that they weren't worried or they had no concern at all was good.
That's it completely. And that's the thing I always say about with the bride and with coordinating weddings. They chose you to be a part of that day. Of all the people they've met in their life that they know, you're their inner circle. They're the people trusting you to make sure that their day is happy. And I'm not an A-type personality whatsoever until I'm planning a wedding, coordinating a wedding. It's like, I don't care how you feel. Put the dress on, smile, every camera pointed at you. I don't care if you don't like the dress. It's not your wedding.
Right.
You can do what you want for your wedding. Get this. Don't cut into my 15-minute cushion. So here's a question. As Gen Z and having had social media and reality shows your entire lifetime, do you think that helps feed the expectations that your generation has for like bridal showers, baby showers, gender reveals, life in general? Or if I should have asked, do you think that impacts, and if so, how? Does it influence it?
At first, I did growing up with different reality shows and stuff because it would just look picture perfect, rich and nice and everything. But now more than ever, especially as of recently, they kind of show a lot of what really happens behind the scenes of reality shows. Some of them are scripted. Some of them are pre-planned. Some of them is just made up overall because they want that raw footage. They want that drama. So it's always just seems so forced now more than ever. And now it's just like for our audience, especially as a Gen Z, show the real parts. Show like, okay, sometimes some stuff can get boring. There's just some stuff where, it's not worth capturing, but maybe it could relate to this other person. if they're talking about something that's not talked about, it always has to
Mhm.
be some type of argument, drama, fight, breakout stuff. Show the real stuff that everyday people go through that they can relate to so they don't feel alone.
Right, because on the flip side of that, it creates an expectation like you say, everyone's rich, everything is great.
Mhm.
But you also think that social media slash reality shows also feed a negative influence where things that are normal, just everyday life, and they make it appear to be this major life changing catastrophe where,
Yeah.
in all honesty, it's not that bad.
Mhm. Not at all. Not at all. If anything, I
Because,
wish they were just a little bit more relatable, you know, more real. Capture just the real raw emotions or what they're really going through instead of just
for example,
glamorizing it. Yes.
for example, what's like a real raw emotion you wish was captured and portrayed more, but it seems to be missed?
Oh, good question. I would say I I like the Kardashians. That's one thing about me. I like the Kardashians a lot.
What?
Yes.
I've never watched that show ever.
I all the way go back to Keeping Up with the Kardashians to now the Kardashians since they switched to a whole new network. But Jim just showing like a lot of it can be scripted. I love the Kardashians. Okay, don't sue me, please. But when they go on their social medias, for example, they would just do these type of trends, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're relatable. They're being real. They're being like us. I love that. Now, one reality show that I really felt like was like showing the real raw like stories and life that happens. Do you remember MTV's True Life?
Yes. Because that was the prequel to like the Teen Mom show, right?
Yes, 16 and Pregnant. That was
16 and Pregnant.
seeing it like it's not glamorized. I remember one episode where she was one supporting her family, her sister, her son, like all their siblings and stuff. Her car declined at the grocery store. And it was just embarrassing. And she was talking about how production couldn't help her. Like they had to stand there and record. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that is just something that I'm looking forward to. It makes me sad because MTV doesn't air all their shows either. And I'm just like, that's what we
Right.
need, or at least another revamp of it.
There needs to be a MTV retro channel
Yes.
like that's throwback to the original Real World, the 16 and Pregnant, that yes, those type of even the remote control, those old shows where you ask questions about TV. Yeah, MTV does need to have an MTV retro.
Yes.
I know they stopped playing music at one point, videos, and I didn't know
Mhm.
they still made them. And then they went into reality shows. But you're right. Like I follow. Terrible to say, Amber and Leah and Gary from 16 and Pregnant.
Bless them. Bless them. That girl, they from Indiana too, so they're like right under us. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
in itself too. So, but yeah, I feel like more of like the Kardashians. I wish they could just continue that realness and just relatable videos that they're doing. They're slowly doing it, but I just wish a lot of reality shows ours up to par with the title of it, reality, showing the reality of it. Nothing scripted, nothing pre-planned. So mhm.
Do you think that there's something, or if you can think of a show where it shows the full reality of this is trauma, this is healing, this is how you get over it? Because, like I said, I think a lot of times shows show they show an impact, and it's just everyday life, and they make it seem like, oh my God. I often tease my daughter because she'll crash out in a minute, like, oh my God, everybody died. Like, girl, it's just you just got a headache. Take a Tylenol. Like, oh my God. So it's like, and I'm like, this is just everyday life. And I don't know if that's generational where we go, like, get over it, get past it. You're all right. You're fine. Versus because that's what's been seen her lifetime, that's something what I view as normal is major and catastrophic. Is there a show that you could think of that shows like, okay, yes, this is normal. Yes, this happens, but this is how you get past it. Where there's a good balance of negative and positive reality, no script, but this is just every day.
No, not necessarily off the top of my head, but I will say with Nell, like I relate to her with just like overreacting in a way. I'm sorry, Nell. It's not like overreacting. I get it. Like if something I fell over,
To
I'm
me.
about to break down and cry. My life is over, or I'm
Mhm.
crashing out to the fullest. Like, but my parents would be like, "It's fine, get over it." I can't. I'm about to crash. I'm about to break down and cry. Then the next moment, I'm calmed down. I'm like, okay, let me get
Yes.
everything together and it will work out. So,
Yes.
yes. So I do relate in that way. That's a lot of feelings with Gen Zs. Like, we react very quickly. We feel like it's the end of the world. We feel like, oh my gosh, how are we going to get this together? When in reality, it's going to work out in the end. So I think it's,
It always does.
yeah, it's just in that moment, it feels like it's the end of the world. Definitely. So I definitely relate to her when it comes to that too. I'm working on it myself. But yeah.
Yeah, my new phrase for her is, "I don't have the bandwidth, baby. Mama doesn't have the bandwidth right now to handle this.
It's
I'm lacking the capacity. I don't know how to help you." And the sad part is, and maybe you can help me out with this because
yeah.
that's my struggle. I, as a parent, and I don't know if this is just Gen X or if this is just being a parent, when my children tell me there's a concern, there's an issue, there's a problem, my first reaction is, let's fix this.
Mhm.
That okay, this is what's wrong. This is what you need to do. You get to, help. And my children have told me on more than 10 occasions, Mom, when we tell you our problems, we don't want you to fix it. We just want you to hear it and know what I'm dealing with. I'm like,
100% true. You want to get those feelings out in that moment and just vent, right? Because if we hold it in, it's going to linger over time and then it's going to be pent up anger. I'm mad at this. I'm mad at the world today. I'm mad that it's
mm,
sunny outside. And then it just magnifies. So that's what it is. Like, we'll fix it. It comes in phases. Mom, I need to vent to you. This is bothering me. I need a moment to crash out for a second. Then, okay, what's the solution now to fix this? Then I feel better and I take that moment and that lesson with me whenever another similar situation happens. So that's what it is. They just need a listening ear. And then if they follow up with, now may I have your advice on it?
okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be my question. When that presents itself, because I can't be the only parent. I'm not the only parent. I've talked to other people who are in the same situation. When your child comes to you, how do you know what prompt should you listen for to say, okay, here's the solution versus you just here to kind of like be the Velcro and allow them to just stick their issues and concerns to you
Yes.
and not react. So that's something I'm navigating with. But you just told me. Now, what's the solution to wait for
Mm-hmm.
them to do that? Well, thank you, Dee. Thank you. So,
Yes.
and moving into other things about being a Gen Z, I spoke to a young girl at Fixins in downtown Detroit. Ooh, that food's so good. We need to go to Fixins.
We need to go there. We need to go to Hibachi. We got a list of places to have to go to, especially for
I don't know about you.
yeah.
You sent that when I was like, woo. When I saw the address, I was like, woo. D, what you doing there?
That's what they asked me to. But that's how you know. Remember, we always had this ending joke. If they have bulletproof windows,
What? If you feel
if you
unsafe?
feel unsafe, homeless people moseying around the street, you know it's gonna
Baby,
be
that
good.
food fire. Food fire. So, woo. Give me two. One to go. We have to go. Like, woo.
That's like,
But we do need to go to need to go to Fixins. There was a young lady. She works there. She's a waitress, and I went there one day just to do a little work. And before I went to church, and I asked her about being Gen Z and trying to date and what issues she's encountering because this podcast is to empower women, educate men. Throw that in there also. Um, so she was saying because she's a Christian, it's difficult for her to find people to date who take their Christianity seriously. She said it may start off looking like they're Christian and a Christ follower, but somewhere along the line it goes away. And so she said she's been dating a young man for a few years, and now she's saying she's not even sure this is where the person who she wants to be with, because she doesn't see what their end game is. It doesn't appear to be going towards marriage. With you being at 26 years old, oh my God, you're 26. 26 years old, dating now, are you still just kind of seeing what's out there, or are you at this point now beginning to look towards, okay, let me consider who's potential mate for marriage, or are you still just saying, okay, let me see what's out there?
I had that phase of just dating, and not just typical dating, but like dating multiple people. And it doesn't have to be as like going far or just being locked in, because you
Yes,
want to have your options, right?
right.
So I had that phase. Actually, going to college, I had that phase. I had fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, in grad school, I'm like a little bit intentional. Mid 20s, that's when I was like, okay, I want to date to be in a relationship. I wasn't thinking of marriage at that time. Marriage has always been the end goal, but it wasn't just at
Right.
that time. Now, in my late 20s, I'm just like, okay, I am ready to date for marriage. So that's where I'm at right now. So it comes in different phases. At first, I was like, when I was 21, I'm like, I feel like I'm in the world. How am I not married yet? Because, I see a lot of people that I went to high school with got married right away. But now looking back at 27, I'm like, there is no way I would get married. Like, after there's no way I'm a wife at 21. Like, 21.
Do you think of who you were dating at that time and think like, if I'd have married them,
Oh, we would
where
have been
would you have been?
divorced like 3 years ago. We would have been divorced 3 years ago. We would have still been figuring out like everything to this day, like finances, kids,
Oh,
and I no, absolutely not. Like now, I'm like, thank you, past self, because there's no way that would have lasted. I'm so serious because
oh
I really was just like,
my God.
at that time, these, people I went to high school with, like, yo, they married and everything like that. Now I'm like, whoo, I don't think I want kids right now. Like, my back hurt. Like, let me take care of me. I come home, it's quiet, like, it's night. Like, I can't imagine that. I can't
Mhm.
imagine that. So that's why I
Mhm.
was told by my friend, enjoy the friendship phase, enjoy the relationship phase, enjoy the engagement phase, enjoy marriage, and then
Yes.
enjoy having kids. So just really taking that time, and just also right now, just enjoying my single life right now, because I'm
Man.
here. It's
That's and that takes me to my next question. So, having dated and trying to see, okay, well, even before you were at the point where you say, okay, let's see who's a potential mate, what's out there? Because me and Larissa, hey, Larissa, we've talked about there being piss in the dating pool. The dating pool is dirty. Yeah. But that's at our age. And when you're in your 50s, what's in the dating pool is different, because you have people who are trying to heal and recover from previous marriages and grandchildren and children and adult issues and workplace stress. But at 26, they haven't encountered all of that. And so, just tell, what are you encountering in your Gen Z dating phase, at this age? What's out there? What's in the Gen Z dating pool?
It's not piss in the pool, it's ish in the pool. I don't think it's that
Nasty too.
is fantastic. Like, it's all of it. Like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, you know what? A lot of these men, a lot of them that just still has a lot of growing to do, but they also need a
Yeah.
lot of guidance as well. You know,
Okay.
going back to it all starts back at home, right?
Mhm.
So coming from a two-parent household, and I'm dating someone from a single parent household, not like this is more of my experience. It's different because,
It
especially if they
is.
don't have a father figure in their life to properly, court a woman per se,
Mhm.
or just treating them right. It's completely different versus when I was dating someone with a two-parent household,
Mhm.
or without their mom. So it's so different, and they just kind of get their advice or how they treat women from friends too, that don't have, the guidance as well. It's kind of like leading the blind with the blind. Again, this is more of my
Mhm.
experience. So it's very different. It's hard. Or a lot of them don't want to be in a serious committed relationship. They still want to have fun, which is fine because in your 20s is all about just figuring everything out, having fun.
It is.
And the next step, you know when it's ready, and you know when it's time. It's something that my guy friend told me, like, they know when they want to marry a woman. When they know, they know. They know right away and they go off with it and make the plan to marry her. Versus other
Mhm.
men, they just having fun and stuff. And that's the problem too, is communication. They're not upfront
Mhm.
with what they want. That's
Mhm.
also the issue in my Gen Z era. They, acting nice and stuff like that. Hey, you looking gorgeous, stuff like that. You looking good. Let me take you on a date and everything. Hey, let me buy you this, that, and the third. Then all of a sudden, you locked in. You have strong feelings for them. As soon as you show those feelings, they're out the door. I'm just like, what happened? Like, we were good. I thought we was going in the right direction. So it's
Mhm.
very, very difficult. I always say, like, I was born in the wrong generation because I would have been married right now. I wouldn't have these
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. Is it, but here's the question to follow up on that. Is it that they don't, if they're coming from a single family home
Mhm.
and more likely than not raised by their mom, do they not know what it looks like? What a unit looks like, a partnership where there's male and female and balance. Because the house I grew up in, grandma and granddad was in the house, they were partnership.
Mhm.
If granddad cooking, grandma washed the dishes, if, granddad,
Yeah.
he washed the clothes, grandma drying them.
It was
It was a
different.
partnership. So I have this, yes, I have this idea of partnership of what it looks like because it was modeled for me.
Mhm.
But do you think that could contribute, or that could be one of the root causes of Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, of men not performing to meet our expectations of partnership because they themselves don't know what it looks like?
Yes. They don't know what it looks like. They don't have an example because
Mm,
even the guy that I used to date, his dad was in his life. His mom was, but his mom was working a lot. So majority of the time he was at
okay.
home by himself.
Okay.
Or he would spend time with me and he would just be confused. I remember when he surprised me for Valentine's Day, he was telling me the backstory behind it, like, I don't know what to give a girl. Like, I had to do research and stuff. Like, oh, I have to give her flowers. Okay.
Oh,
So it was like the thought of it too, because it also goes back to if they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to
okay.
try, they would try and make the effort to. But again, it stems back to not having that example displayed and that guidance provided. So,
Of what it looks
mhm.
like, yeah. Because I always said, and I done my research over my days. It's the same kind of podcast. That the one thing I do notice about men, and I've said it on multiple episodes, that men who grow up in single mom homes, they tend to be more intent to a woman emotionally because they know what it looks like for a woman to be hurt, or a woman to be sad, or a woman who's having PMS because they seen their mom or their sister or their nieces or their aunts or grandmother, whoever raised them. So they tend to have a be more in tune to what that looks like
Mhm.
because It's true. Because they've seen that with their moms, and they know what it looks like for their mom when their mom was heartbroken by a guy, or someone they had seen. They know what their sister looks like when their sister cried over her boyfriend. So they tend to be in tuned with
Mhm.
women who are like that. Have you had that experience also, or is that just generational?
I have that experience as well too, where he had his mom and his sister and even close with his girl cousin and just in tune with their feelings and what they go through and stuff. And that was because he had a close relationship with them. There was a relationship
Okay.
there. Versus with another guy, he didn't have that type of relationship. Like I said, like his mom would just go straight to work. It would just be surface level conversation. You did your homework, you do school, that's it. And he would see a lot of men coming in and out of the house of all the different
Mm,
relationships that, his mom would have. And so it would just be confusing. So I definitely
Yes.
had that experience as well too, but then also the opposite of it. So it all kind of really depends on just if they have that close relationship with their mother and their sister or cousin, etc., and they're more in tune with a woman's emotion, that can make a huge of a difference as well.
Good. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah. So at this point in your life, what constitutes a good partner for you?
Communi-
What in your life you think is a great partner?
Communicative communication, regardless if it's good or bad, and how they communicate. It's not always what you say, but how you say it. That's number one for me.
Mhm.
Next one is just someone that's kind, someone that's nice, you know.
What does that look like to you? What's kind and nice? What does that look like to you specifically?
You see somebody walking by while you're with me. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, let me help you with these groceries. Hey, you okay? Hey, let me pick this up for you. You look stressed. You look like, you're not feeling yourself. Let me help you with this. What can I do for you? Caring and kind.
Mhm,
That's what I see
mhm,
as number one for me. And knowing that I feel comfortable because I consider myself a caring and kind person. So I feel like that should be
mhm.
reflected with my future husband as well. So
Good question. This segues into the next as soon as you said that it triggered a thought. Do you want someone to mirror who you are and what you have, or do you want someone to have the things that you don't have, the attributes you don't have that not necessarily mirror you, but you can rely on them with their strengths?
yes, a mixture, more so of mimicking what I have because I'm a Christian and
Mhm.
putting God and loving God first. I'm family oriented. My family comes first and friends come first. Um, I'm a Democrat. I don't know if that's okay to say or not.
It is,
I,
especially during this administration
you know,
regime.
that's number one. And also what we want in life at the end of the day. Finances. Are we on the same page with that? Are you good with money? What's your credit score? You know, do
Ooh.
you want kids? I want 3 to 4 kids. That's another topic. Um, do you value marriage? Do you have a good relationship with your family? One thing I would really love for my husband to have and lead is patience.
Mhm.
Patience, I'm still working on. It's hard, but having that patience from him and taking lead on that would be huge too for me, for sure.
Is that the one attribute you hope your partner has that you don't have?
Yes, because I don't have a lot of patience at all. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Really?
It's hard. People try me every day. You know, life be trying me. It's just hard. So if he could just present that and help me and guide me along the way too, and I is making sure I put in the effort, that's a win-win right there for sure.
Then what's the one attribute you have that you hope they match?
Um, Definitely being faith-based for sure. Because that being a Christian, growing up in the church, granddad being a pastor, your dad being a pastor, my parents still heavily in the church and stuff. Still saying my prayers, not even just once a day, throughout the day, before I walk out the door. Because once you outside that door, that's it. That's a lot. That
In the words of Robert Harris, pray about it.
pray about it. Yes, every single
Let the Lord handle
about
it.
it.
Let the Lord handle it.
Even little like decor that I have, one in my room where it says, "Did you pray about it?" So it's funny that you mentioned that too, because whenever I'm just like thinking in my head, I look over, I see that, okay, let me pray. So just hoping that my husband has that same faith base as well too, because putting God first is number one for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. So
One side
I'm trying
is
to
food
think of that
lover
nice.
too.
Say that
One
again.
side is being a food lover too. I love just restaurant hopping, eating different food.
Right, right. Trying something you haven't had before.
Yes. And doing it
Right. 'Cause
together. Yes.
shared experience. Thank you, D.
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's the thing that I challenge someone I know about. Um, why partnerships are so great, because when you have these new experiences that neither one of you have had before and you get to experience it together,
Mhm.
how beautiful it is. You create this memory together
Yes.
where in my dating, I don't take people I've dated that to somewhere else where I dated with somebody else. Like I don't go
Yeah.
take them to the same place.
Mhm.
Try to expose them to something different where no one else has ever been. And that's kind of
Yeah, like
my
you
little
said,
thing.
creating new memories for that person with yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So in dating, what's your red flag? What
Oh,
has been some of your red flags? Ooh, stuff got that plug.
oh, ooh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh. And that's the thing. I have a whole list too. That's something about me of all of what I want in a man and what I don't want, what I want us to do together and what I want for myself. So yes, that's something I do have. Red flag is oh my gosh. You know, it's not
What has been your biggest red flag?
the biggest red flag. He doesn't go to church. He doesn't go to
Mm,
church. He doesn't believe in God. He's what they say,
mm.
oh, I'm spiritual, not religious.
Spiritual.
I'm like, okay, take your spiritual.
I believe in a higher power. I don't necessarily call it God, but I believe in a higher power.
I believe in the universe. Go be with the universe then. I'm not dealing with that. Wait. Into crystal. You know, it's like I said, nothing wrong with that, but I want us to mesh well together. Not good with money. Not good with money. If
Mhm.
we're pulling out multiple credit cards, I'm like, ooh, how is this going to affect us in the long run? You know, especially if we want a house, how we're going to pay for mortgage. We're going to have kids later. That's number one. If you're not good with money, yes. Mm-hmm.
I was dating a guy who asked me, did I have student loans? And I was like, what? It's like, do you have student loans? And I was like, what kind of question is that?
Right?
But then later on, after I got to know them, they explained like, if you have a lot of student loans and we're together and the household, you have a lot of student loan debt, that's going to pull from the household. I was like, oh,
Oh,
makes sense.
that makes sense.
Because when I went right, because when he asked that question, I was like, that's a dumb question to ask. When you ask about my student loans,
Yeah.
but that I guess that was their way of vetting me. I still ain't married, but
No, it's gonna happen. I'm so excited too. And I'm coming out of work during my lunch break to come and be a witness. Your wedding. Because like you said in the last podcast, you said,
on a Tuesday, everybody at work, we can have a Subway, baby, and split that sandwich and go right on back to work on a Tuesday. Because I did the big wedding. I've told people, like, you do that big wedding, you're paying for everybody else to have a great time.
yeah.
You tired, especially as the bride.
Mm-hmm.
You're
You didn't even get to
exhausted.
eat,
At the end
right?
of the day,
Yeah. You didn't even get to eat. Like you were focused on just greeting everybody and thanking everyone. It's a lot.
get the pictures. Make sure you get the
Yeah.
pictures. And it's time to cut the cake and it's time to do the dance. And
Mm-hmm.
people want to take a picture with you and hug you because they have a plane to catch. They're going to get on the road. You're tired.
Yeah.
You're even as the bride, you're for the wedding ceremony, you're the last one to come in.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see the bridesmaids come in. You didn't see the flower girls. You missed the
Yeah.
entrance of your husband to be. You miss everything because you're the last one to come in. But I mean, that's the whole purpose because, here comes the bride,
Mm-hmm.
but you miss your wedding. And then you're the first person to leave out. You and your husband leave, you go take pictures, and everybody else is, hey, I haven't seen you. And they're eating cocktail hour and enjoying the hors d'oeuvres and the charcuterie tray. You're taking pictures, and then you're greeting people and you're talking. You have to do the toast, and you taste the cake, and you have to cut the cake and take the picture for the cake. And then you're exhausted. You do your first dance, but then you don't get a chance to dance after that because everybody else is dancing, and you're tired. And people who show up as a guest, baby, they had the time of their life. They ate good, drank
Right.
good, danced, took pictures, caught up with co-workers, old cousins, family members. They had a ball, and you pay for it. You pay for it. So
I get it.
Tuesday, with everybody at work. We going back to work, babe. I see you at home. Thank you. Love you. Love you back. Love you. My My new mister. I'm your
Yeah, oh my
missus.
goodness. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm still a proponent for marriage, and I know people have often asked me that, "Are you still a proponent for marriage?" Yes, because I'm still a proponent for marriage, even though I'm a divorcee. But if I don't get it, I just want a really good partnership.
Yes.
I want a really good partnership. If I never get married again, I'm okay.
Okay. I
I'm okay with
like
it.
that.
See, I've been single a long time.
What do you feel like you learned from your last marriage?
How important partnership really is.
Mm. Hmm.
How to be intentional with prioritizing them.
Hmm.
Because I know Scott and I have been on here. Scott has been on here a couple times, and Scott has spoken about um I mean, he was honest with his infidelity, and I also spoke about how my role in helping to end our marriage was me not prioritizing him anymore after I got the kids,
Yeah.
where he was on the back burner. He was like third in line. It was the kids, mom, and him.
Mm.
And how do you do that when you have a partner?
Mhm.
And and he said, but looking back on it, he said having children, they were babies. They needed you. They
Mhm.
needed you more than I did. So I should have taken a back burner. But D back when we was divorcing.
And it's so crazy because I was listening back to the episodes. I was in elementary school at that time when you guys, yeah. And so looking back, I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, yeah.
Child with a fight, that was terrible.
Oh my God.
I can easily say that was the single moment in my life where I can say I was 100% completely out of control.
Mm.
I've never been out of control like that ever before, and I've never been out of control like that ever again. And it was horrible.
I can imagine.
Like the thought of it was horrible. I
Yeah.
was prepared. I go to jail, I go to jail. We burn this house down, it's burnt. It was just completely, if I kill him, he's just dead. It was 100%
Yes.
no, like people say, unhinged. And I remember holding the stick, the metal rod that went to the bottom of the Christmas
Yeah.
tree, saying, Scott, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. Because I was 100% committed to willing to bash his head in with the metal rod. And that's just crazy to say it now. I mean, that's my dude now. Scott is my boy.
So watching. No, I'm kidding. But we write it down.
That's my
I was
dude.
writing that down for you, even though in elementary school. But it's valid
Yeah,
because you had your whole world and it just shattered right in front of your eyes. So it's
right.
just, and I commend you for still trying, still making it work.
Yeah.
Because I remember you said with Brenda saying, you made those vows. You made those vows in front of everybody. In front
I
of God.
just told that story this morning. Yes. Go ahead, D.
Yes. And, you have to make it work. So that's one
Yeah.
thing about marriage that, you just don't think about because with the divorce rate, it's just so high more than ever. And people just give up so easily. So that's why
Yeah.
I salute you for still trying, still making it work. So,
Yeah. So that's a question that leads me to statistically, they say that Gen Z they have a lower marital rate and they're waiting longer to get married. Do you see the reason as to why? Or what do you think the main reason as to why?
I think from observing, it's more so kids first, then possibly marriage. And yes,
Mm.
and it's a lot of it. Or some of them just don't get past the marriage phase or go into it. It's just more just let's have the baby first. Because, a lot of women too are going through a lot of infidelity issues too. And so they just kind of want to get that rush out the way because they feel like, oh, marriage is just right then there, sign a paper, go ahead, more faster process than having kids. Or they just don't see, which is number one, they don't see the value of marriage anymore. And it makes me sad because it's
Mm.
just like marriage means so much more. And it's just, I want to be, if my person is my person, I want to be with them forever. I don't want to be with anybody else. So people are just losing the value of marriage. It's a lot of broken homes out here. And we don't want that. We want to break that generational cycle and continue to promote still and really value marriage again.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is a step to making it appealing? Because one show I love Bridgerton, and Bridgerton, if nothing else, Bridgerton, it shows the value of marriage because in watching Queen Charlotte, when she went up under that bed, because he was like, join me under the bed, he was like, okay. And she laid, I laugh at this because Erica and I laughed. I said, this is really a personification of marriage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this man is painting on the wall and he wants to go under the bed. And you know what we do because we love our partner? We go under the bed and lay under a bed talking to our partner because that's where we're going to connect.
Absolutely. Yes. I
But,
think
you know,
instead of shows, more of a single Bruno Mars. He's the only short king that I will marry. I don't know if probably won't happen, but his latest song, his new album that came out, the romantic specific song "Risk It All," and he presented and advocated marriage in that whole entire music video. So, especially the power that he has with his audience and fans that he has, so promoting that, that's huge too. Versus different rap songs like, I got my baby mom, stuff like that. Okay, not my but
no, I feel like, and even with Gen Z, for whatever reason, millennials too, Gen Z seems to be tapped into the R&B of the 90s and 2000s. Jay and Janelle was singing Keisha Cole and Usher and all these songs from the 90s. I'm like, I thought it was because they grew up around me and I'm an old parent because I'm Gen X. And I'm like, oh, we skipped a generation. Y'all supposed to have millennials as parents, but you got Gen X. But I'm discovering that's not true. You guys are just tapped into 90s, 2000s music that's just shared across the board. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
it's so funny that you mentioned that. It's also from the influence of you all too, because when we were out with grandma and my sister, and when me and Nell were listening to Mariah "Always Be My Baby," and she was like, I got that from my mom. Shout out to her, she had the real soundtrack growing up. And I was just like, yeah. So it's all about, I think, just our parents introducing the music that they listened to, and it was really good music. Clock it, okay.
Yeah.
And so,
Yes.
and I think the influence of through TikTok and just bringing those songs back up, like
Yes.
TLC, with throwback songs from Usher as well too. So I feel like that's an
Mhm.
influence as well. We're bringing that back so that way the music doesn't die or the artist doesn't die. Especially with Michael Jackson, for example, we're still, yes, huge legend.
Magical.
Yes, absolutely.
Magical.
So,
Truly magical.
Stevie Wonder.
Like,
So yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Now it's
Genius.
becoming
Musical
more
genius.
trendy. They're using it as their background music for, their videos that they're making, or just putting it back on the radio, or putting it back on, making it top on the Billboard chart. So that's what it is. Keeping that music from that time alive. Mhm.
So segueing into this. So you mentioned TLC.
Yes.
What is your take on the chili controversy? Or would you prefer to omit
No,
it? Omit that
I
question.
had that reaction because I'm hurt. I'm hurt. But you know what? Sorry. I've always had this inkling from observing Chili over time with certain takes and how she acts. I'm like, I don't know. And then once that came out, I'm like, what is this? But I also had a thought too, with certain celebrities for their accounts and stuff, it's not initially all the time ran by them. It's ran by rather their assistants or their crew
Yeah.
overall. So I wonder if purposely this is my conspiracy. I wonder if purposely they went onto her account and just paid it for that and just try to trick her, just to make her look bad, especially since the tour is coming up to sabotage. But then again, it's just like they should be well aware of where their money is going. So hearing that news was very disappointing. Very disappointing. Because I'm just like, if Left Eye was here, she would have been done. That group would have been broken up. And T-Boz, then she
Yes.
confirmed too that, one of her members.
She voted for Trump. She was a Trump supporter.
And that's the thing that's confusing. I think aside from that, seeing our own people vote for that administration, knowing that they
Mhm.
hate us, people of
Mhm.
color, and they will never
Mhm.
accept us. Yes, they're being nice now because they're supporting them and being on their side, but they're still gonna look
Mhm.
at us and not like us and not accept us.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what's confusing. But yes, that's
Right. I'll accept your green dollar, but not necessarily accept your black skin.
mm-hmm.
It is, and on the last episode, I spoke about how a lot of times I know in the past, except for this one, this is an anomaly. This regime administration is an anomaly.
Yeah.
But in the past, I know that I spoke about, and you've spoken about Christian values. A lot of times, our Christian values, we tend to align with Republicans on social issues when we tend to look at it, socially. Like Jaden Ivey, God bless that kid's heart. He spoke out of the NBA. He lost his job. He was waived by the Chicago Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
They found Erica Campbell from Mary, what she said in the past. And it's because we tend to align with Republicans because of our religious alignment.
Yeah.
We're Christian. So yes, Christian values tend to align with what used to be the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something different. So to find out Chile was a supporter of Trump, yeah. And people can't understand, like, well, why wouldn't you want to separate that? Because it's not even so much of her. This is my take.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get at me. Chili will never see this, so no matter. Um, because this is how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just her aligning her beliefs or her political, beliefs with this particular president, but it is the donations that she's made. And if we're purchasing concert tickets, that feeds into Chili's pocket, and out of Chili's pocketbook, it goes to the Trump administration and this particular political party, whatever, that intentionally
Mm-hmm.
creates policy that are
Just
negatively impacting us. We're inadvertently donating to our own demise.
100%.
And that was my take. Like, you can't be surprised that people don't want to spend their money, give their money to you, and seeing where your money is going. And I mean, I get it. A lot of celebrities might be spending their money on cocaine, women, who knows? But now we do know. I don't know what I don't know. Right. I don't know what Chris Brown's spending his money on. I know it ain't on Trump. If it ain't on Trump, I do. If it was on Trump, well, Chris Brown, you ain't getting my money either.
Right. Exactly. It's more so of a slap in the face. Like, you're supporting not even just this administration, MAGA, that is
Yes.
representing hate, racism, all the above,
Right.
and like you said, in a negative impact. It's a slap in the face for us. Like, especially how much
I
you
know.
support her. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting how the ticket sales are gonna be. And
Yeah.
so
And it's not a surprise that Salt supports her, because at one point she stopped doing her own music because she was converted. She was a Christian, and when she made Stomp with Kirk Franklin, and she changed the words to What a Man and Shoot and things like that.
yeah.
So I can understand, once again, those, Christian values that's deeply rooted into the African American culture tends to align with Republican
Yeah.
values. But,
Mhm. It's just
I had to get
overall
your
this
take.
administration. That's what it is.
It's this one.
Yes.
It's not even Republicans. There are some Republicans that in the past, some of their political views, I go like, yep, I do understand it. I agree with some of it. But this one is just odd. It's harmful.
Exactly.
It's
Very
harmful all the way around. This is different. I thought I'd bring it up because you and I went to the Kamala rally 2 days before the election. And I'm going to say this. No one would ever convince me that she did not win.
100%.
Ever.
1,000%.
Ever. I've been saying this. Joe Rogan, dry snitch. Joe Rogan has been dry snitching. And I know people say, oh, he's one of those podcast bros to help Trump get elected. I'm like, if you kind of pay attention to some of the stuff he said, I'm like, he dry snitching.
Yeah.
When he talks about your ear, he's like, what about your ear? Because I've seen a lot of ears in wrestling. Your ear don't look fine. Your ear looks fine. So Joe Rogan, you calling him out on his ear. And then even after the election, right after the election, he was like, yeah, I was talking to JD, and he was telling me that what's the guy name? Oh, Musk, Elon had created this this app that predicted the election down to the point of, to the percentage point 4 hours before the election was even over.
That's sketchy.
Really?
Right.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There was
no one would ever convince me.
100%. She should have, would have won. There's no way. But it's the sad truth also. America's not ready for a woman to be president yet.
They're not.
And especially a woman of color.
They're not.
And I hope that one day that does happen, because we need that representation in our country, in our world. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it was devastating. I just remember going back to the last normal, really, debate was with Mitt Romney and Obama. And they were
Yes.
just respectful towards each other. They weren't
Mhm.
screaming towards each other, towards, a certain person that does that and just only wants to be heard, So,
Right.
yeah. It's just,
Right.
again, it's this administration specifically.
They're the anomaly.
Mhm.
I often have said I feel sorry for kids who are in government and civics classes now, and they're being taught how the government is supposed to run
Yeah.
and seeing what's happening. Like, this is not what's happening. The audio isn't matching the video, is what I love to say.
Yes.
What they're being taught and what they're seeing,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same.
It's not.
It's not the same.
It's not.
Those poor kids. Those poor kids.
Well,
Well, I'm almost about to wrap it up, but here's 2 more questions I have for you.
yes.
What is one thing you want to change about yourself?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Because I made a list earlier. I'm just like, I need my hair line to be pushed back a little bit further. I don't know if we're talking about I don't know if we're talking about physical appearance or it's just. I'm like, I need a little bit more.
I need mine to come back. I got granddad's old forehead. This that Marlowe, baby. That Marlowe is Marloweing. This from Baby Dale. This from my grandma.
I didn't know if you meant physical or more of just personality-wise.
Personality-wise. Mentally, physically. And that doesn't have to be physically. I was thinking more mentally or emotionally or things, something like that, spiritually. Anything. But I mean, it could be physically. The hairline. I'll take that.
I wish I wasn't, again, going back to being impatient. I wish I just wasn't so impatient, and I wish I can just enjoy the time now and remind myself that God is going to take care of it and that the situation is going to get done when it's time to be. Because I can go back to just graduation, for example, for grad school. I just wanted to get through it. Like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And I wish I could have enjoyed defending my thesis, being in my cap and gown, taking a moment in, like, this is something I can't get back. So I'm just in the rush to, okay, now that I got my degree, where am I going to work at?
No.
What's my next job? And it was just right there in front of my eyes. A quick backstory of my job. I was out of a job for a little bit during the summer of 2022, and I just had a remote internship that was paying $900 a month, once a month. Yes. So, I'm scrambling with my savings and stuff. I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And mind you, I was interning at home, interning at the internship at the time. So I was like, let me just put my all into this. Like, this is opportunity where I'm just able to grow my experience and stuff because I didn't have it with these classes. And so little did I not know, my boss was paying attention to me and looking at me and seeing how I was getting everything done, how I was able to do it and stuff. So once that ended, because I was trying to figure out my money and everything, 3 months after, not even 3 months, 2 months after the internship ended, my boss kept my number the entire time and texted me one day saying, and it was the night before, I prayed hard and I was crying to my family. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I need a job and stuff. The very next day she texted me, hey, how's the job hunt going? I just wanted to make sure and check in. I have this position open right now and I would love for you to apply.
Oh, wow.
Applied, did the interview, got it, still here to this day. So And
Wow.
during that time, I was just worried about the next thing, knowing that it was going to work out. So going back, I
Mhm.
want to change just being impatient to being patient and knowing that everything's going to work out. And not having that control either, too. I feel like I have to control
That's hard.
everything. Yes. To everything.
It's hard.
So that's something I just wish I could change. I'm in the process. We're growing. We're growing.
I'm a work in progress.
Yes, I'm working. That's what it is.
Ah. Now, the flip side of that coin, what's one thing about yourself you hope never changes?
How much the love and care that I provide to everybody and the niceness I provide to everybody. And I don't want that ever taken away, no matter the times where I've been taken advantage of or for my kindness, my niceness and stuff, and reminding myself that, there's more good people out here than that. And I still want to continue that niceness and kindness and not just turn into just mean. And especially as I get older and stuff, I still want to keep that good heart in me. It's something what grandma says, guard your heart.
Yes, Lord.
She always says guard your heart. And so that's what I love about myself and never want to change.
If you have one word of advice, because you're Gen Z, Gen Alpha is coming under you. Because Jay and Janelle's sister, she's Gen Alpha, and it's driving them crazy, and I think it's hilarious. What word of advice do you have for Gen Alpha, the generation that's coming under you?
Advocate for yourself. Always, no matter what situation or what you go into, rather it's the workforce, rather it's just simple things like everyday life. Continue to advocate for yourself because you know yourself better, you know what you want, you know what you need. And especially when it comes to like going to the doctor's office, for example, they could just say, what's wrong
Yes.
with this? No, I know myself, I know my body, I know what's wrong, and we need to elaborate and get this done. So I say for that generation, continue to advocate for yourself, speak up, and root for you. Definitely.
Oh my God. As you were talking, I had three more questions pop up. I'm like, oh my God. I was trying to end it, but then it's like, okay. What's the biggest now I keep going. What's the biggest misconception about Gen Z that you hear but you know it's not true?
Ooh, that we're not. I would say that we're not creative. They think
Really?
that, at least from my experience, they think that, we're copying from, Gen Xers or the generation above us, or we're not original stuff. We're creative. We come up with our own stuff and concepts and stuff. And so I feel like that's where it's coming from. I feel like the biggest misconception for sure. Or that
Really?
we come off needy.
I was thinking entitled because
Yes,
that's the word I hear, entitled.
entitled. When really in reality, it's more so we want it this way, we want it how we want it to be, and you know, that's it. But the problem is we just don't know how to communicate properly. So that's why I have the people that I mentor now currently. I'm like, hey, come off appropriately, come off, more professional so that way they can take you seriously. So
Mhm.
definitely.
This is what I've learned from Janelle, my little Gen X consultant, and not
Yeah,
intentionally, but just through
love you
life.
now.
Right, love Nell. Because she told me, Mom, could you please stop posting? It's coming through my TikTok timeline. Girl, stop. So she it comes off entitled, but this is how Janelle explained it to me, and I thought it was just perfect. I'm not entitled. I know my worth.
Mm,
And because your generation settled for what was given to you.
mm,
That's why you guys stayed in positions with companies and you didn't get paid what you were worth because you showed a loyalty to the company or a loyalty to the position and you stayed there, and you should not have done that. You should have known your worth and get paid what you're worth. I don't do that. I know my worth. I'm not entitled. I just know my worth and I feel I should get what my value is. And I was like, what? Don't lose that. Use a T, right? Clink, clink, D, clink, clink. That's Janelle's thing. That's her. It's not that she feels she's entitled. She just knows her worth. She doesn't have a loyalty to a company or a position or a people. She has a loyalty to herself to get what she feels she's valued at. And I was like, oh,
1000%. I totally forgot that as far as explaining it more. She nailed it right on the bed. As a former certified job hopper myself, I get that because how am I being mistreated in the workplace like this? And I'm giving my all and trying and stuff and being
yeah.
disrespected, being called names or bullying, example. I'm not deserving of this. I'm supposed to make my money, go home and save
Mhm,
or get the stuff that I need. I don't need this. I'm out
mhm.
of here.
Yeah.
And that was, that mindset too when I was in college, working these side jobs and stuff. And now in the main workforce, I still keep that mentality. I'm so careful because the economy is really tough out here, but
It's bad.
it's really bad. But yeah,
It's bad.
know your worth, and it's not entitlement. It's just you're not going to treat me any type of way, especially when I'm giving my all to you and making sure the company is thriving even more with what I'm doing.
That's what she told me, and when she said it, my mind was blown. It gave me a different perspective of what Gen X feel because, like I said, I think that is a misconception that you all get, like, "Oh, Gen X so entitled," but her thing is, "No, I just know my
Yeah,
worth."
we're not going to settle. So it's true. Yep, not settle.
Like, "I just know my worth." I went like, "Okay, yeah,
Because life is so
that's her thing."
short too to just be unhappy at a place that there's a better opportunity out there. So 100% agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Dee, this has been awesome.
Thank you so much for
I'm
listening.
so glad that you did this. There was another one that another niece or two that I've been wanting to have on as well. But I'm like, I don't know if they want to do, but it's
Maybe
okay
if
because,
you
like I
see
said,
me, they'll.
they were like inspire. Because the thing of it is, I think that and you and I have discussed this. I think the name throws a lot of people off.
Mm,
I have a minister, I think he's a minister or deacon. He messaged me and says, the name throws you, but you're not promoting ratchetness. Like, no, I'm not promoting ratchetness. And I've had to explain this a few times, and I said I'm going to start explaining the name in every episode. The reason why I have the name for the podcast because I started all over after my divorce and didn't have a bed to sleep in, no insurance, no car, nothing. I had to start all over. And then after I got everything back, I started dating again. But in my dating, whether it worked out, they didn't work out. Whether I left them or they left me, whatever the reason was, the dating ended. I never took a loss.
yeah.
I never ever took a loss again where I didn't have a bed or a place to sleep in or a place to sleep or a car to drive or no insurance or money or anything like that.
Mhm.
And no woman should ever put herself in a position where someone factors so much into her life that if he leaves her or she leaves him, she's taking a loss where she doesn't know where she's going to lay her head.
Mhm.
So if he does leave you, all you've really lost is dick and conversation. And if you weren't physically involved with them, then all you really lost is conversation. So that's where the name comes from. It is a state of mind where I have been, and sometimes still is. I'm a strapping young lad. Don't fall out of my life, bro. All you really lost all I lost was dick and conversation. My kids continue to eat. My lights continue to turn on. My heat continued to work. I still had a car to drive after my divorce with whatever potential relationship that fell apart.
Mhm.
I didn't take a loss. And that's all they really added to my life. So every woman, every single woman should always feel that way about herself. Make sure you're good. Make sure you're mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially stable. And if this guy leaves you, or you leave him, that's all you really lost.
Mhm.
And that's it's the name of this podcast.
All women,
So that's
amen.
thank you, D. And I'm going to close it out. You have been listening to or watching Dick and Conversation podcast. I'm Elissa, who has and had an amazing guest, D, my niece. You can listen to me on Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, or Spotify, or the tube of you. My socials, once again, is my Facebook page is Dick and Conversation Podcast page. My YouTube channel is Dick and Conversation Podcast. Like, subscribe, share. My Instagram is Dick and Conversation _podcast. My blue sky is Dick and Convo.bsky dot social. And my TikTok is Dick and Conversation Podcast. You can reach out to me if you need to at dickandconvo@gmail.com. D, thank you.
Thank you,
This is
Lisa.
this.
Love you so
And for
much.
everybody else, I'll see you next time.